Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakurash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS who rule well, who I learned this truth from. And salutations and blessings to you elect out there, starting with the 144,000 on down. So the title of this lesson is Conduct, right? And this is coming from the inspiration from 2 Timothy 3 and 5. In the AMP, which reads, holding to a form of outward godliness. And this is describing the end times which we're in. You have various groups out there, okay? IUIC, ISUPK, groups that come in and out, little flares, the little sparks, right? And they get 10, 20, 30, 40K views. They get tides, they get viewership. But then, when they disappear, where do those people go? Where do the followers go? You guys are lost souls, man. A lot of you guys are lost souls, man. You got a lot of bug outs out there. You're holding a form of godliness, although they have denied its power, for their conduct nullifies their claim of faith. Look what happened with Gorilla. Look what happened with his other boy, Hassan, or whatever. I forget their names, but the dude that got crushed by his woman, pretty much. Big G's, not the little ones, right? Look at all these guys, man. Time and time again. You bug outs that left GMS from years ago, you guys came back and then you left. It's a recurrent cycle, man, because the guys that really have it, the true teachers, they don't look like the guys. And what I mean by that is they don't look eloquent. They don't look like they are from this world, which of course the eyes and the lust of the flesh, people perceive. Even this Israelite thing, people perceive you got to dress in a certain way, you got to be a certain way, okay? And see, pick the IUIC, right? They got their conduct, right, where they're in a military march in a formation and they're chanting. They think that's the conduct. That's not the conduct of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's not the simplicity of Yahushai. Okay, your conduct, your true conduct, is showing your acts, your actions, your spirit, right? Their conduct nullifies their claim of faith. Avoid such people and keep far away from them, which is what we do. We don't have Israelite meetups. We don't have Israelite discussions, debates. We stay away from you. Now, real quick, let's get the word conduct from a noun sense. The sense of to lead, command, direct, manage is attested from mid 15th century, originally military, right? The general meaning to direct, manage, act as as leader of, which what are you conducting? Really your spirit. Really your spirit, right? That's why in the book of Proverbs, I believe, right? Proverbs 25:28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Okay? So what are you leading? In the verb sense, it means to guide, accompany, and show the way, to lead or bring together, contribute, serve. But the point is to lead. What are you leading? Your will, your spirit, in a sense, of course. We know Yahweh, it's of all Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but you got to temper yourself, your passions, your desires, mortifying your members to the best of your ability. It's a fight, meaning you're going to fall, you're going to get back up. A righteous man falleth 7 times, but getteth back up, right? Let's keep going. Verse 6, for among them are those who worm their way into homes. You guys worm your way into homes, man. All right. And that's why there's all these kinds of degenerate, messy stories of adultery and injury and deceit and heartbreak and all kinds of shit from these different camps. Okay. When GMS has a scandal or whatnot, it gets cleaned up. It doesn't get pushed under the rug. Brothers do videos. There's rebuke. Okay. There's not a what's that shit? Tattletale party, right? We don't giggle and laugh. We bring out the facts and move on. You guys cover shit up, man. Don't talk about it, or if you do talk about it, it has a primer on it. You guys cover it with a coat of paint. You don't really repent. Gorilla didn't repent. He just stepped down, right? And captivate morally weak and spiritually dwarfed women, weighed down by the burden of their sins, easily swayed by various impulses. That's why it's easy to get women in the camp, in the church, all right, to be a part of this. And you start and listen, man, Jake, there's some high level manipulators, man. Okay. And there's things you can see, even if you're not a manipulator, let's say you just have a keen sense of perception and you're aware of things, little social cues, body language, tones, looks, little cute little nuances that regular people don't notice. You can pick that up, and what you do with that, you can be manipulative asshole, a demon, which a lot of you guys are, because you're quick. Yeah, you're quick, but you ain't quicker than the Lord. The Lord's gonna fuck you up, man. Right? You got to use those skills for the right hand side. You guys are using it for the left hand side. So that's what I'm saying. When it gets messy, bro. When you got women involved, and you got this guy's wife and this person, and oh, who's she, and oh, who's that, and blah blah blah, and egos get puffed up, and the leaven rises. It gets fucking messy, and that's why I thank Yahweh Shem Yahushua for the apostles, our teachers, who told us, look, this is a man thing. You keep your woman at home. Right? The Lord said his sanctuary is with men. Where the women at? They're at home. Or really, some brothers don't got women. They're in the club. They're hoes. Have you seen what's going on in the world? Where the woman at? They're part of corpocracy. They're part of Babylonianism. Okay? They're part of the world, man. Yeah, you sisters are coming in. Be humble, man. There's trials for you too. There's tribulations and tests you got to go through spiritually. Overcome feminism, for one. And that's a heavy fucking demon. That's like Jay coming out of Christianity, worshiping Caesar, or being a Rastafarian, or... Anyway, verse 7, always learning and listening to anybody who will teach them, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Just as Jannes and Jambres, the court magicians of Egypt, opposed Moses, so these men also oppose the truth. Men of depraved minds, unqualified, and worthless as teachers in regard to the faith. The law, brother, the law. Keep the law. You don't keep the law, brother? Where's your fringes at, Ak? I seen you working at the construction site. I didn't see your fringes, Ak. I seen you working in the office. You didn't have your tassels, brother. You fucking assholes, man. You really don't know what this thing is about. The weightier matters of the law. Okay? You guys will keep pushing the law until the missiles hit, and you wonder why your ass isn't saved by the law. Right? Verse 9, but they will not get very far, for their meaningless nonsense. Everything you're saying is meaningless, man. It's stupid. It's futile. Resistance is futile, right? Resistance against Yahweh Shem Yahushua is futile, man. Everything you're saying is meaningless and nonsense, man. For their meaningless nonsense and ignorance will become obvious to everybody, or to everyone, as was that of Jannes and Jambres. And look, like I said, man, we just keep quoting these guys. And there's guys some of you brothers don't know. Guys from 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14 that came in, were on fire doing this and that, and then left. Whole camps left, half camps left, quarter camps left. Okay? They kind of went on for a bit, and in 6 months to 12 months to maybe 18 months, not even 2 years, they're done. You don't even hear about them. They're part of the myths of the mythical chronicles of GMS. You gotta ask somebody for that. You gotta ask an elder for information on that. Like in Star Wars, when you wanted to know some deep information on something, you went to the library. And then he showed you who was Obi-Wan. He asked Yoda for this planet, and he said, this planet, it's supposed to exist, but it's off the map, and they're trying to get into it and shit. There's people you don't even know about because that's how unimportant they are. They're done. They're finished. They didn't make any mark. They thought they were doing something coming against the apostles and elders. They didn't do shit. They got butthurt. They got ran through in the spirit. They got hurt, man, crying, and then they're done. The demons tore their ass up. Simple. Okay, let's get to the book of Psalms 19. Again in the AMP, verse 5. Salakia. Proverbs 19 and 15. Laziness, AMP, laziness casts one into a deep sleep, unmindful of lost opportunity, and the idle person will suffer hunger. Now, spiritually, again, that, obviously physically we understand this, but lost opportunity, the kingdom, your talent. Wasted talent. That was a movie, Bronx Tale. He said the saddest thing in life. Robert De Niro. He said the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Okay, which really it's not wasted in the spirit. If you fall out or you're not using your talent, the Lord's gonna just shuffle that. Take your talent and add it to another brother. But you get the point. Verse 16: He who keeps and obeys the commandments of the Lord Yahweh guards his own life. But he who is careless of his ways and conduct will die. Okay, how you conduct yourself, man. How you conduct yourself even with people in the world. They that are without. Right? We are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. Therefore, let us be blameless, right? That's the book of Hebrews. Right? How you treat the guy at the convenience store, the gas station, this guy, that guy. Don't flare up. Don't preach. Yeah, brother, don't be angry. And you brothers get angry and curse, and then you got road rage and trying to run this person over and hit this car, and the guy looked at you weird. You're looking at him and shit. You gotta actually use this, right? Not just know it. You gotta know it and use it, right? He that getteth wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, he that getteth wisdom getteth understanding. You can't just have wisdom and not use it. You don't really have understanding, because under means to be a servant. That's what it means to be subjected. To be subjected under something. So you're coming up under that. You're living it. You're not just talking it, or else you're just a faker, right? Now, let me go here. This is Proverbs 20 and 11 AMP. Even a boy is known and distinguished by his acts, whether his conduct is pure and right. That's true. Oh, he's a bad boy. He's a naughty boy. He's doing bad things. Oh, he's a good boy. Okay, yeah, he's listening. You can from 2, 3, 4 years old. Okay, 1 Peter 1:13 AMP. So to 16. So prepare your minds for action. Be completely sober in spirit, steadfast, self-disciplined, spiritually and morally alert. Fix your hope completely on the grace of the Most High that is coming to you when Yahushua Mashiach is revealed. Live as obedient children of the Most High. Do not be conformed to the evil desires which governed you in your ignorance before you knew the requirements and transforming power of the good news regarding salvation. See, the requirements, man, there's prerequisites to this life, right? But like the Holy One who called you, be holy yourselves in all your conduct. The word holy means to be set apart, to be pretty much a peculiar, different people. You don't do what these heathen do. And it was explicitly laid out in the book of Deuteronomy. Listen, these people do this. They sacrifice kids. They put the razor to their head. They eat this food. They eat that. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna be like that. Okay. It says, but like the Holy One who called you, be holy yourselves in all your conduct. Be set apart from the world. by your godly character and moral courage, because it is written, you shall be holy, set apart, for I am holy. Okay, let's go to the book of Haggai 1. Now therefore, AMP, now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways and thoughtfully reflect on your conduct. NLT says, this is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies says. Look at what's happening to you. Right? But the conduct, which way you're conducting yourself. And actually, 1 second, let me look up this word. That's what I wanted to do. The word ways is the rock, which means way or road, distance, journey. Like Gad. Gad says, you're on the right path. You're on the good journey. You're on the good path. You know, when Gad was at war, you know, one of the tribes or family got slaughtered. They did a thing called a war path. We're on a war path, meaning, yo, where we're going to, we're going to war. The path we're walking right now is to war. Okay, and it was also figurative sometimes, but again, the good way, the good path, the good road. That's what Gad even says today. They have expression like that: the good road, the good path. So that's where we got to be heading down, man. Of moral character, right? Of course of life, manner, habit, way. Okay. And one last one is Sirach 27 and 6. It says, the fruit declareth if the tree have been dressed. So is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. Real quick, I want to get that in the, I believe, GNT. If I can get this to close. Right. Again, this is going into what? The fruit of the spirit. Okay. Your whole mannerism, your appreciation for this truth, everything you learned and applied or didn't apply, right? GNT reads, you can tell how well a tree has been cared for by the fruit it bears. And you can tell a person's feelings by the way he expresses himself. If brother's holding hate secretly, you can tell. You can tell, man. After a while, you can tell, especially if you're drinking together. You can tell, man. If there's some static, if there's some weird going on. Let me see what the Common English says. A tree's fruit reveals how well it has been cultivated. In the same way, reasoning makes plain a person's thoughts. Khan. So anyway, hopefully that was edifying. Shalom to the elect. Kahala Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachakurash Kwame Sharala.